All right. I'm launching an open source project that is sort of the world's first voice interface, voice client for MCP. And I'll sort of start with the demo and then I'll sort of tell you how I built it, why I built it. Let's say you want to connect to the HubSpot MCP server. And so you sort of use your HubSpot token to connect. And then once we're connected, I can say, hey, HubSpot, do we have any companies? Do we have HubSpot as a company?
Yes, we have a company named HubSpot in our records. Here's the information for the company. Name is HubSpot.
Okay, great. Is there a contact with the last name Gillingham who works at HubSpot?
Yes, there is a contact with the last name Gillingham who works at HubSpot. Here are the details. Colin, Gillingham, email.
Okay, great. And what's that contact's job title?
Colin Gillingham's job title at HubSpot is Product Manager.
Okay, so I'll pause it here. But so you can imagine, I maybe don't have to be at my desk. I might not even have to be looking at this. I could just be talking through my headphones and sort of like going through the recent contacts and companies that have been added to HubSpot, adding notes, updating the records. Maybe I just had a phone call with the contact while I'm sort of like out walking in the park, and so I don't want to forget what we just talked about, and so I'm immediately switching over to this voice interface. And I'm sort of adding the note. I'm just showing you this sort of like demo here that uses a web browser as a way to sort of showcase what's happening, but it could all happen via a phone number, for example. Let's say Hacker News. You can see when we connect here, it actually grabs all the MCP tools. So the Hacker News MCP server that I have can get stories, user info, search stories. And so I can say like search for some stories about the Tesla Cybertruck.
Here's what's buzzing about the Tesla Cybertruck on Hacker News. 1. Tesla Cybertruck by Saheen. A high-level overview with 1,765 points. 2. Tesla Cybertruck pricing and specs. By feature is now 23.
And then you can drill down and you can almost like have it read to you, and you could connect other the New York Times, there's all these different MCP servers out there, Wall Street Journal. Here's Airbnb. Hey Airbnb, can you find me a place that is in the United States that 75 people can sleep in?
Finding an Airbnb that can accommodate 75 people might be quite challenging, as most listings are designed for smaller groups. However, I can certainly search for larger properties such as mansions or estates that might accommodate a large group. Could you provide me with the specific dates you're interested in, or any other preferences you might have?
Sure, 4th of July, 2025, that weekend.
I'll look for properties in the United States that can accommodate a large group over the 4th of July weekend in 2025.
We'll be staying 3 nights.
I found a listing that can accommodate a large group, although it may not fit all 75 people. Here's a notable option. Fulton Resort, multi-court, hot tub plus fire pit. How much?
So here's another great example. Now let's do something a little bit different. So we can use Blender here. So hey, let's create a hyper 3D picture of the Empire State Building and add it to Blender.
Let's create a 3D model of the Empire State Building using Hyper 3D. I'll get started on generating the model, and then we can import it into Blender. Please, hold on for a moment. I'll check on the status of the Empire State Building model generation for you. Please hold on for a moment. The 3D model of the Empire State Building has finished generating. I'll proceed with importing it into Blender now. The Empire State Building model has been successfully imported into Blender. You can continue working on your solar system project, or if you'd like, we can explore the Empire State.
Okay, so you can continue to like talk to it, and if you know how to use Blender, you'll be much better at it than I am. Here's another kind of fun example. Ableton is like a music editor. Create music. Can you have a look at our current track that we've got going right now and start playing it for us?
The current session is playing at 120 BPM with a 4/4 time signature. Let me know if you'd like to make any adjustments or need help with specific tracks or clips.
Yeah, I mean, based on what we have right now, what do you think is like a missing piece that would really make this like sound really cool?
To add some excitement and depth to your track, consider these options. 1. A baseline. A groovy baseline can add energy and drive. 2. Percussion. Adding extra percussion or a drum fill can create more rhythmic interest. 3. Melodic elements. A lead synth or a melodic riff could add a catchy hook.
Yeah, let's add
4.
a melodic riff.
I've created a new MIDI track called Melodic Riff. Let's add a melodic element to it. Would you like a specific instrument or synth sound for this melodic riff?
Whatever you think will sound.
It seems I'm having difficulty accessing the...
All right, I'm gonna stop that one. I created the what you heard already that way, but it's hitting an error. Yeah, so you can play with these things. Those are sort of like just kind of like fun ones, but really I think the power of this is sort of like allowing you to step away from your computer, use AI and use all the MCP productivity things out there. You could be using the super base one to like ask queries about your app, your database, things like that, and you don't have to be at your computer. You can be like, well, who are the new users that signed up for my app today, and sort of that. And then you could say like, great, take those email addresses and send them a welcome email using the Google MCP server, right? And you can do that all via voice, right? And so that's sort of the idea. So long story short, basically this is the open source project. It's called Realtime to MCP. It's basically an OpenAI Realtime API Wrapper that allows you to configure your app. It's basically a TypeScript, supports TypeScript right now, but it basically allows you to configure just like you would use the OpenAI Realtime API. You would basically define it in very much the same way as you use the Realtime API today, and it allows you to sort of chain all of your MCP tools right here. And so, like I said, the Realtime API does not support MCP, but if you use this library, which creates a wrapper, you can bring in all those MCP servers. Locally hosted ones, remote MCP servers that require an access token, all that's supported. So it's open source. If anybody wants to contribute to it, I'm sure there's ways to make it better. Happy to get some help building this. But yeah, let me know what you think.